Let's move on to our next story. This is one you brought to my attention. Avatar and its sequels. Now, Alanis, we all know that we're getting more than one Avatar sequel. We have already got set in stone Avatar Way of the Water, which we are going to actually see this week. We are then getting Avatar 3 in 2024 in December. We're then getting Avatar 4 in December 2026, I think they said. And then we are getting Avatar 5 in December 2028. And James Cameron has already said he has plans for Avatar 6 and Avatar 7 and even more. Now, me and you both questioned this in our review earlier tonight, that if the second one doesn't do as good, we already know we're going to get the third one no matter what because they've already shot it. They shot it at the same time as the second one. So we're going to get the third one no matter what. But if the second one doesn't deliver and then they release the third one and it's the same sort of thing, you brought up the thing that in 2017, so a few years ago, James Cameron said he would scrap the rest of the Avatar storylines. Now, a couple of things I wanted to bring up about this, which is if he has to scrap the storylines, why is he writing 6 of them? And if they all are sort of telling one giant story, does that mean that when Avatar 3 is done and it doesn't do as well as the others and we don't get the others, that we're not going to get the full Avatar story we were supposed to get? We're going to get left with sort of half a complete story. And my other question is, do you still think that, I know he said it in 2017, do you still think he feels the same way that he will scrap the other movies? Or do you think now he's like full steam ahead with all of them?
It makes me wonder, and I mean, ultimately, I don't know if it would be his choice or not if they bomb really hard. But it would be interesting to see, even if this movie doesn't do that well, where it aims the trajectory for the next one. I don't know. I just don't have a lot of confidence that it's going to have the legs to make it past Avatar 4 or 5. Like, I don't think we're getting 7 movies out of this.
As you and me discussed, because, dude, I'm so skeptical on what money this movie has to make back to make it successful. Like, me and you just discussed it. I was worried about it beforehand, and I said to you, like, dude, it has to make this much money. And you were like, yeah, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. And then when you actually looked at it today, you were like, oh, no, I don't know about this now. You know what I mean? Because we've looked at the budget, the box office budget and what this made back, the original made back. And after 14 years, multiple re-releases of the Blu-ray, DVDs, back into cinemas on streaming services, remaster, blah, blah, blah. This movie has only just made $2.9 billion in 14 years. And Avatar 2 needs to make $2 billion to break even. It took over 14 years. It took 10 years or more for Avatar to break that stride. So, like, I don't get it, man. I am so fucking confused at how not only has James Cameron been given this much money and budget and leeway with a 14-year movie project, but he gets multiple ones after this without proving the success of the sequel 14 years after the original. And he has to make that much money on a movie to break even. Like, can you imagine any other movie in history that has had that sort of freedom?
No, not at all.
The Flash. They were worried. They were like, do we scrap this movie because of everything that fucking, is going on with, what's his fucking face? Ezra Miller. Or do we reshoot it? No, we can't reshoot it. It's not practical. It would cost double the amount we've just spent on it, which would make it over a $300 million movie. Now, this movie cost $320 million to make. And this movie has one bit of history in it, and that is the original movie. The Flash How much history does The Flash have?
Yeah.
It's a super. The Flash is arguably 10 times bigger than Avatar as a franchise. And they refused to reshoot The Flash because of how much it was going to cost and make it over $350 million or whatever. Yet, Avatar 2 could do that over 14 years. I don't get why this movie got so much freedom and why we're getting more sequels announced when no movie, this has never been like this in history. Like, yes, we've had Marvel movies where it's like multiple dates. Yes, we know Avengers Endgame's coming out this date, and the one before that, Avengers 2, was this date. But, like, they weren't 14 years apart. And they're the Avengers. You know what I mean? Like, they're more popular than Avatar, I would say, as a group. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if we're going to get 6 sequels. I don't even know if we're going to get any more after number 2 and 3. And in all honesty, I can see that this movie is getting a lot of acclaim. It's getting people saying it's amazing, one of the best cinema experiences ever. But I'm also seeing the other side of things where people are saying, too late. I don't care anymore. I cared 7 years ago. I don't care. There has been CG movies galore since this movie came out that have done CG amazingly, and we don't know what we're supposed to think is so special about this next one. You know what I mean? And like, if that's like sort of like it's half and half, where people are like, I can't wait, and then there's half and half that are like, I could care less. Like, I'm worried about if this movie is going to make back the money they need to be profitable. You know?
I feel James Cameron running his mouth as well. To me, it's irritating me. Like, some of the shit he's saying, like, my motion capture's so much better than anything in MCU. It's like,
it would want to be, considering you've spent 14 fucking years on the movie. That is like, that's like saying, okay, my CG is better than fucking the Avengers Endgame. Yeah, because they didn't spend 14 years on the CG for one movie.
exactly.
They made that movie in what? Like, when was Avengers? It was like, what? How long was the gap in between Avengers 2 and Avengers Endgame?
1 year. So not between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame was 1 year.
That's what I mean. They spent 1 year. They spent 3-4 years on the one movie, not 14. So, James Cameron, what you have to say about your CG being better than Marvel's is irrelevant, because you'd fucking want to hope so. Like, stop comparing yourself to movies that are done in not just double the time, less than double the time. You know what I mean? Like, these movies are done in like 3/4 of the time a quarter of the time yours are done in. You know what I mean? Like,
well, put it this way: in the time that it's taken between Avatar and Avatar 2, we've had
nearly the whole MCU.
See this shelf and this shelf? That's MCU movies. That's how many we've had.
When was Iron Man released? Because that was the beginning.
Iron Man was
2004?
2009, I think.
2008,
2009?
2008 it was, yeah?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
It was 2007. So we've gotten Marvel Phase 1, Marvel Phase 2, Marvel Phase 3, and Marvel Phase 4 in the time that it's taken us to get a sequel to Avatar.
Yeah.
And James Cameron's talking like, oh, well, my movie's going to be better than Marvel. And it's like, well, I'd hope so, man. You know? So, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see, because as you said, you're like, James Cameron's a master of sequels. Yeah, but James Cameron is also the master of, I'm James Cameron. You know, like, I am the best director ever out there. I have made the top movie ever made, followed by the second top movie ever made, Titanic, Avatar, blah, blah. I am the shit. You know what I mean? Like, I am going to take 14 years on a movie because I am James Cameron. You know what I mean? So